Hi DC, hello YouTube, this is Strange Shelf Fellows, back with another video. This is now the fourth time that I'm trying to record this follow-up to bigstar1000's thread about the A through Z. Most everybody's done with this thread. I would have been done with this thread a week ago if YouTube didn't keep making my videos disappear. So, we're going to try again. Number 4, hopefully, is the charm. So yeah, let me get started with the letter F. Okay. This is Aretha's, I think, very first album. This is before she became the soul Atlantic Records diva that we all know. And this is representative of my collection because I think to really know an artist, you really have to know their whole catalog, and this is not an easy record to find, especially if you are not a record collector. There's a 6i logo there for you folks, and this is a really good record. This is, I mean, you know, it's Aretha. I mean, it's her voice is amazing, and this is a really good record. And if you like Aretha, you need this one too. But if you are not collecting records, then you're gonna have a really hard time finding it, and you may not even know that it exists. All right, the letter G. This is the Gentrys. This is Keep On Dancing. A lot of people know that song. It was their one and only hit, and there's the picture of the guys. But I showed that to you so that I could show you this. Now this is also the Gentrys. Check these guys out. Yeah, that's later Gentrys. And one of the things I like about my record collection is kind of the opposite of the Aretha Franklin situation, is that individuals that had hits at the beginning of their career lots of times went on to record other albums. And this is a really good record. It's got a lot of good psych on it. They kind of, you know, well, they might have started taking drugs, you know. So this is a really good record, and it's probably not as well known as their one and only hit. And a lot of times one-hit wonders went on to have other careers. So kind of an unusual label. This is a White Sun label. However, there's no indication on it that it is a promo at all. It's just a White Sun label. And it's also, it doesn't have the, it's not the yellow with the bullseyes either, which is later, so I don't know much about this pressing. Assume I get that back in there. There we go. So yeah, Gentrys, really good record. Something else that I like about my record collection is I really like cover songs. Pretty much anytime I run across a good cover song, well, I think there might be a good cover song, or it's a cover of a song I already like, or an unusual song that doesn't get covered very often, I'll pick it up. This is Glass Moon, and they do a cover of Salisbury Hill, which is really good. It's the Peter Gabriel track, and so I keep it up here for that reason, because I think that's a really good song. I honestly don't remember if I played the rest of the album or not, if I liked anything else on it. I don't think I made any notes. No, I must not have, but it's a good cover song, so it stays up here. Okay. Letter H. How am I doing on time? Yeah. Alright. Letter H. This is still in the strings position glare. This is the Halifax 3. And there's the front of it. And there's the back of it. And I was at a buddy's house. I was going through some of his records that he was getting rid of, and he very graciously let me go through them first and pick out the stuff that I wanted. And I was, you know, flipping through it, and I passed this one, and I kept going. I was like, wait a minute, hang on. And so I went back, and I was like, wait a minute, I know that guy right there. Who is that? So I looked at it, and I flipped it over, and it says down there at the bottom, Dennis Doherty, a.k.a. Denny Doherty, a.k.a. 1/4 of the Moms and the Papas. Well, that's really interesting. So I pulled it out. Now, I like folk music. In fact, where the hell is it? Yeah, what's in the background right now is Eric Anderson, which is really good singer-songwriter, very much into Dylan school of thought, but very good. Okay, so I like folk, but this is kind of more like folk trio, which I like the harmony and stuff like that, but it just doesn't do the same for me. But anyway, I held on to this because I like it in my musical collection to have these little footnotes in history, these stepping stones. I think that all aspects of music history are important. I think that a record like this is one of those building blocks. It's one of the ways in which we got to where we are right now. And the Halifax 3 probably was not popular enough to make the transition to cassette and to CD. And it sounds funny, but if somebody like me doesn't find this and recognize what this is, recognize what it means, you know, it could disappear if nobody takes the time. So I held on to it, and I always will, and you know, there'll at least be, you know, one, because I'm going to hang on to it. One little piece of Mama's into Papa's history, and then musical history in general. Okay. Still with letter H, this is The Who Live at Leeds. Except it's not The Who Live at Leeds. This is something that I found at a thrift, and it says right here, "Excuse me while I kiss the sky." So this is representational of my record collection, because when you are going through thrifts and things like that, you've got to look inside. You've got to look inside, because what this actually is a 2-disc Jimi Hendrix bootleg called "Excuse Me While I Kiss the Sky" on Hen Records. And you know, if I'd just been flipping through and hadn't paid attention to somebody scribbling on the cover, and hadn't trusted that, and had just trusted that it was The Who Live at Leeds, which I already owned when I flipped through this, would have passed this up completely. So you gotta look inside. Okay, letter I. This was shown briefly in my very first video when I was just doing a tour of the record room and just, you know, flipping through some stacks, stuff that was already out. And this is in my record collection because, as much as I love music, and as much of a music fan as I am, sometimes it is all about the art. And this, for me, is really terrific cover art. I picked this record up just for this cover. Not that I don't like the Isley Brothers, but this photograph is, you know, this is great. And, yeah, I love that a lot of the stuff is, you know, it's before digital photography, it's before computer tricks. It's, you know, I don't know how they did this shot. I don't know if these guys were all, you know, captured in midair somehow. But, you know, it's a great shot, you know, and you can't get this on a CD or anything like that. And they're not reproducing this picture. You can't put this in a, you know, a poster on the wall or anything. This is the only way you can, you know, get this picture. Alright. Letter J. Ghostwriter, Garland Jeffries. Okay. Garland Jeffries is one of those artists that had a really good career, is probably still recording, actually, but didn't easily make the transition to cassette and CD. He wasn't, I don't think he was that well known, so he didn't really make it. And kind of an underground guy, and if you aren't the sort of person that's digging through record stacks, you're not going to really, you're not going to know about it. I found out about this guy through Little Steven's Underground Garage, which is, no joke, the best radio show ever. If you, I'll just say this, if you like garage and psych and, you know, the golden years of rock and roll and punk, and you wish they were making more music like that now, they are. And it's on Little Steven's Underground Garage. And honestly, if you like all that stuff, if you like pop culture and movies and everything cool ever, and you're not watching Little Steven's Underground Garage, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Because, I mean, you know, guys like this and just such great new music shows up on that show that I never would have heard about otherwise, because just, it's just not around. I just never would have heard about it. You gotta, just trust me, go to Little Steven's Underground Garage, check out the one he just did about the week that was, check out the one he did about Scorsese recently. They're all killer. Just do it and tell me what you think later. Alright, so Garland Jeffrey is one of those guys that I heard on his show. Thought it was great. I had like one record by him that I held on to kind of as an oddity, and then I picked up like 2 more pretty quickly after that, and you know, I put maybe, you know, $5 into it, something like that, and God only knows how much I would have had to spend to get anything else, to get anything by him on like CD or cassette or something like that. It would have taken forever. Alright, let's see. This is Billy Joel. This is Billy Joel's actual first album, Cold Spring Harbor. There's a very interesting story about this. I'm not going to go into it here, but go online and look this up and read about what happened with this album. And I like oddities like this. When I read about things like that, I sort of put it on my mental checklist to try and get, because I think things like this are interesting, and you know, this is one of those things that Billy Joel probably wishes had disappeared, rightfully so. But you know, here it is in my collection. There's, you know, at least one copy that survives. I guess so yeah, we'll keep on going here. This is the letter K, King Crimson, to Carole King, to B.B. King. Now, the reason I pulled these 3 is because this is not maybe a perfect example, but my screen name, Strange Shellfellows, comes from the fact that my record collection back here, this is all alphabetized, straight alphabetization. I used to do genre, I used to try to do decade or period or both, and I gave up. There's too much bleed over, just forget it. And I went straight to alphabetized. And Strange Shellfellows is, of course, a play on Strange Bedfellows. And I like about my collection finding what winds up next to each other just by virtue of name. I like going from King Crimson to Carole King to B.B. King right there, and having my motley crew, very wide-ranging tastes being all sort of lumped together. And you know, if I started at the beginning and I just went all the way through, it would be a very interesting mix of music, and I like that. So that's the letter K. Let's see. I got about 2 minutes left. I'll try and get through this quick. This is L. This is my Gordon Lightfoot collection. And this is interesting about my collection because I like Gordon Lightfoot, but I'm not a huge fan, but he's sort of one of those people that I could get into. And so I keep finding good condition records by him, and I keep hanging on to them. But I like that about my collection. Like, if there's ever, you know, a song I hear by him that I want to re-listen to, I probably have it, and I'll have to go look for it. And he's one of those artists that I could really, really get into, and if I ever do, I've got pretty much everything that I need right here. Alright, the last one in the letter L is Liquid Smoke. Okay, this is a real beater copy, but I've held on to it because this is another sort of interesting footnote in history. They do a cover of Hard to Handle by Otis Redding. And when the Black Crowes did their version of Hard to Handle, everyone's like, wow, that's an amazing cover. It is miles away from the original Otis version, and it was really innovative and terrific. And, well, actually, it kind of wasn't, because these guys kind of did it first. And it's interesting to wonder who in the Black Crowes might have heard this album first. I'm not disparaging the Black Crowes. I'm really not. There's nothing to say that 2 groups couldn't have made the same innovation. But it's really interesting, and this is not a very well-known album or song. So, you know, if I wasn't a record collector, I probably never would have come across this. Okay, I got this up here. I'm going to hope that this uploads. I got my cheer here. So, hello VC. It's good to see you again, and I'm loving all the videos, and I hope you like this one, and stay tuned for the rest. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Oh.